Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Nexus Gaming Series Division A matchup. Sky5, Ferrets. Joining me, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jason. How's it hanging, bud?
Good. Just enjoying another nice day off.
I love days
And,
off.
ready to cast some Heroes of the Storm and then play a little bit later. But we'll get to that after the match.
Absolutely. And Sky5 has been around a little bit. And while Ferrets are a new, roster, is currently constituted a bunch of recognizable faces, NGS veterans who have been around, Ghost Dunk, Sir Sean Sheep, Eric. Some familiar faces on the side of Ferrets.
Yeah, Wintermute. Definitely should be interesting to see how these two teams match up. It looks like neither of them have played, so we're still kind of in that week one mojo where we don't quite know exactly what's going to happen between these teams. But this will be the first piece of the puzzle in figuring out how these seasons are going to go.
And speaking of how these seasons are going to go, first game will be on Infernal Shrines. Looks like Ferrets is showing first pick, so that means this was the choice of Sky5. And of course, all NGS matches this season will be a best of 3. And due to how the points are set up, every game is worth points. So there's a difference between losing 2-0, 2-1, 1-2. All of those things make a difference in the standing. So every game is important, especially with how tight we think some of these divisions are going to be. And Div A specifically, Jay's on the largest division, 13 teams for 8 playoff spots. It's going to be one of the hardest divisions to crack into the playoffs.
Yeah, not only because of the fact that they are Div A and are one of the highest in terms of the quality of play in the division, but yeah, also just the numbers. The numbers don't support you making the playoffs quite as much. So, but still, it's still over half. So, at that point, if you're straddling that 8 and 9, you're pretty far down in the standings anyway. But then again, a number 1 seed being defeated by a number 8 seed is not unheard of. So still making it into those playoffs is a big deal, and like you said, every game matters.
Yeah, and not only is an 8 seed beating a 1 seed not unheard of, I think it happened twice last season.
Yeah.
So
it almost was more common.
Yeah, it had, and sevens were slaughtering twos last season as well. It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. So all of these points so important. Get off to an early start, strong start in the early going. And just for the viewers, FYI, it was Towers and Dragonshire. It looks like were the bands. I won't see those 2 battlefields in this setup tonight.
Interesting. Heavy rotational maps. But either way, we are going to Infernal Shrines, so heavy priority of wave clear. And of course, the rotational game, the global game, can be very good here. Get that little extra soak before you go up to the actual map objective itself, these shrines. But also the camps. The camp timings are very important on this map, and those can really be used to get a great advantage and leverage the map objective as well.
Yeah, and I really like Infernal Shrines as kind of a game 1 map. It's very kind of neutral, straightforward, with a number of different strategies that you can use effectively as Zeratul first banned out by Ferrets. So on Shrines, it is really a good feeling out map for these teams to see how well they stack up against one another, especially if they're not as familiar as some of these teams are.
Yeah, good balance of macro, good balance of team fighting, and no surprise on the bans early. Zeratul has been very prevalent in the meta this first week of NGS, especially at the higher levels. Good Zeratul player can be a real terror for backliners. And then, of course, Anna, who still pretty strong after her rework, even after they've given her a little bit of nerfs and adjustments afterward, still really strong.
Yeah, the Zeratul has been picked not only for the pressure that he can put on the back line, kind of bobbing and weaving in and out. But also a lot of teams have been using the VP for some pretty brutal wombos we're seeing pop up in the highlight channel. Diablo banned out from Sky5, and then a very early Maiev selection coming out for Ferrets.
Yeah, Maiev is somebody that we've also seen prioritized in bans on occasion. A little bit of a niche hero, but if you've got a good Maiev player, it's definitely something worth considering banning out. So we'll have to see if Sky5 is going to end up maybe paying that cost for not scouting out the fact that Ferrets would go for her early in the game. But then Wave Clear on the other side going to be prioritized from Sky5. They're going to go for Kael'thas, Rhaegar to start, and a Nubarak and Trond on the other side. So they're looking for the CC, the isolation tools, looking to blow somebody up.
Yeah, and going back to that Maiev, the higher you climb in the elo spectrum as well, the more prioritized it is, the more skilled players really leverage all of the tools that Maiev brings, and can very, very difficult. On the flip side, though, while I've seen Rhaegar popping up a little bit more, first support selected is a little bit surprising. That high. What are your thoughts on the Rhaegar, Jay?
It's an enigma right now. I don't quite know what it means for Sky5. We've seen a lot of like offlane Rhaegar because of his wave clear and his ability to kind of battle back and forth. And he hasn't really received that many changes, which is interesting. He's able to ancestral himself now, but the base kit is still the same. They didn't change that, so we'll have to see exactly what Sky5 is going for here. Could be a multitude of different options. But I really like the ban out coming on the other side from Ferrets. The Johanna ban after they pick the Anubarak, kind of choke holding those tanks a little bit.
And then we have a Varian Phoenix coming out for Sky5. I'm curious which Varian we're going to see there. Kind of won't know until they show that 5th pick. Ghost, Dunk, and Eric have yet to select their heroes, assuming no swap. So let's see what Ferrets goes with here.
A solo lane for Ghost Dunk typically, which will be the Imperious, and then the Zol. So lots of wave clear, and again, CC for days. Maiev's got the pull in. Everyone else has hard CC to be able to follow it up, and they've got a decent amount of damage there as well. For Sky5, kind of interesting. They got the Rhaegar, and they have last pick, so this could be double support. It could be an adjustment based on the draft from Ferrets. There it is. It's Stukov. So it is going to be double support with the Rhaegar, probably as the offlaner, and then double backline behind that in terms of damage, which is a little worrisome considering how aggressive Ferrets comp can be.
Yeah, Ferrets doesn't have an aggressive comp. They have a hyper-aggressive comp.
Yeah.
4 melee heroes and Tehran, no ranged assassin. And I was wondering about the double support from Sky5 as well with the early pick Rhaegar. But does Varian have the peels to keep Imperious off of Kael'thas, to keep the Bone Root follow-up off of Kael'thas? Rhaegar's only got 1 cleanse. I'm very concerned about the backline for Sky5 despite the double support.
Yeah, the positioning is going to have to be really good from Sky5. I think they definitely have the higher burden of execution in this matchup. But they do have the sustain. If they want to go toe-to-toe with the members of Ferrets, it doesn't really matter if your backliners are getting dived on. If you can heal them through the damage as they deal it back in spades to the members of Ferrets. So we'll see how it goes back and forth here, because that's a lot of healing coming in from Rhaegar and Stukov.
Yeah, for sure. Early pause. Also, Stukov, with so many melee heroes, Stukov puts down a lurking arm into that engage. It could really shut down the whole thing. But I'm just looking at like a cocoon onto Varian and just rolling over the side of Sky5, or maybe even a cocoon onto the Stukov to get rid of that lurking arm. So some kind of issue right here.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, they seem to need some kind of remake for something. Let me go ahead and I'll contact
Yeah, that would
Ghost
be
Dunk here.
that would be splendiferous. And I wonder, we're going to talk about the comps a little while you do that. With the four-man and Azul, are they going to kind of go old school back in the day? Redo your last pick. Oh. I wonder if they're going to go old school and like double soak Zool and leave a four-man just to really pressure out one of the lanes. Curious.
Yeah, I also wonder what they're going to do with the Phoenix here.
It was okay. There we go. That's apparently the side of somebody had a mispick in draft. Well, let's see what these guys decide to do on it. We'll go from there.
Yeah, it would be up to the captains to figure it out. If they can't come to an agreement, then there would be a moderator.
They get a div mod to come on in.
Yeah.
I think they wanted Mephisto instead of... Okay, so I think we're just going to go on this. They wanted Mephisto instead of Zool, I guess?
Zool? Yeah. That does kind of make sense. You know, the Zool is another frontliner, but I mean, I also just looked at it as just another hard CC on top of their comp, but yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I honestly think the Zool is still good in the context of what they've got going. But here we go. Now we will get going for our first game here on Infernal Shrine. Sky5 in the blue trunks. Furl on Kael'thas. Apple Mike on Rhaegar. Assad on Varian. Juan Finnegan. I think I got that one. On Phoenix. And Abed or ABYD on Stuka.
And on the right, Ferrets. We've got Sir Sean Sheep playing the Maiev. Ghost Dunk on Imperious. Eric playing the Zol. Wintermute on Tyrande. And E. Fitting on the Anubarak. An initial owl, not quite finding the... Oh, no, I actually did find the mark on Rhaegar. I looked and nobody was dismounted, but that wouldn't dismount Rhaegar.
No, it would not, because Rhaegar doesn't dismount. Varian might be in trouble. There's the Lunar Flare on top of the Hunter's Mark. He's staying alive much longer than I thought he would, but he still goes down, Jay.
It's a lot of CC. That's a lot of damage.
I mean, at this point in the game, those guys only have 2 heals to give, and once those were out, Varian was toast. There's a Nubarak intercepting the members of Sky5, disrupting that rotation, trying to get them to miss soak. But in the top lane, Ghost Dunk and Sir Sean Sheep off camera rotated up and got the kill on the Phoenix. Really aggro comp here from the side of Ferrets. And look what Anoob's doing. He is just stunning and disrupting this rotation, just being such a nuisance, while Zool and the rest of the team get this double soak. Really aggressive positioning, taking advantage of all this CC. Ferrets is really dictating the flow of this game, and while the Zool, I suppose, may have been a misclick, they're really taking advantage of this double soak, and Rhaegar, poor Apple Mike, gonna be victim number 3.
Yeah, I mean, if that's Mephisto, I'm not sure they get that kill right there on Rhaegar, but you know, I've always been a believer in the idea that sometimes you accidentally fall into right picks. I know you and I have done that a couple of times, Mongoose. But,
yeah, just last week.
Yeah, exactly. But for sure, we're seeing right now a very good rotational game from Ferrets. E-Fitting doing a very nice job of just being a nuisance and stopping those rotations. But also Sky5 is having a very hard time getting grounded here. Against this kind of rotational CC comp, you really just don't rotate. You just stick to lanes, you make sure to get... And you just try and make it into the later game where you have a chance to win without getting just completely decimated like this in lane.
You know, and that was the point I was just going to make as Rhaegar falls to the... I thought it was the Bed of Barbs, but I guess it was the Fan of Knives, yeah, from the Maiev. The adjustment that I think Sky5 has to make is they can't rotate in the 4-man. They just have to leave heroes assigned to specific lanes. as Ghost Dunk dueling with Phoenix in the top lane. And in the early game, Jay, man, this is all Ferrets. It doesn't feel like Sky5 really has an answer. They're having a really hard time finding their footing here.
Well, and, we see Taunt Variant come in at level 4. Now that all 4 members of Sky5 are together, they do have an opportunity to try and find some isolated kills utilizing that taunt. But right now, definitely on the back foot of Sky5, they're going to need a little bit of a miracle here to come back in this early game to make it even before level 10.
Now that is a lot of damage onto a noob in the lurking armor. Down he goes. That was a kind of a fighting withdrawal because Imperius actually stayed in the top lane to maximize the soak. But the death timers are so low right now, I think Anubrag will be up in time to contest this. However, Ferrets, they cannot step up into that variant taunt 4v5. That would be very dangerous, and they're really flirting with that, with their positioning right now. And there it is, the taunt onto Tyrande. That was exactly what they could not do. And down goes Tyrande. Looks like Phoenix will go in a counter kill as well, so a 1-for-1. Anubarak is now arriving. Sky5 forced to withdraw despite trading kills, and the first Punisher, Mortar Punisher, secured for Ferrets.
Yeah, Phoenix being caught up in melee range there gets taken down. I think you got a good point, though, about Ferrets. They were flirting with it, but they were able to make it work anyway. A little bit of luck involved there with being able to catch Phoenix out a little bit far, and now they're going to be able to push in this lane, which they've already prepped a little bit earlier in the game from that rotational advantage. Nice jump here from the Punisher. Going to start the chain. It's going to be ended with it's just a pile of Ferrets coming in, and that's going to secure them the first port of the game here in the bot lane.
Yeah, that sounds like a call that you hear me make a lot, Jay, which is I'm going on whoever John Cena goes on. It doesn't matter who it is. Just go on him, too. Kael'thas goes down now. This one is rough if you're Sky5 right now.
Rough start, but, what we see a lot in Heroes of the Storm nowadays is the pre-10 game doesn't really matter all that much. At the end of the day, if you want a couple of late team fights, you can be right back in the game, but you'll definitely take that early advantage if you can get it here, like Ferrets has. And
this is what I speculated that Ferrets would do at some point. They just leave Zul to kind of wander the map and soak, and putting the rest of the team largely in lane. I'm kind of looking at where Sky5 is on the map. They're pretty indecisive. I don't think they really quite know what to do at this point, to be honest.
Yeah, you just have to wait for 10. You have to look at your opportunities. But here we go. They are making something happen in the top lane. They catch Zul out a little bit too far. They're giving up a little bit. Well, actually, they're giving up a lot in mid. But that's a good pick as they head into level 10.
Yeah, I don't know how much they can do without 10 about this anyway. But that was definitely Zul stepping a little far forward without vision of the members of Sky5. A nice bait by Phoenix, and then the rotation from the full team of Sky5 to get a kind of a desperately needed kill there to stem the tide just a little bit.
Yeah, I think of it as the concept of stopping the bleeding, like if they don't get that pick, maybe Zul rotates down. They've got a little bit of extra wave to head in with them in the mid. Maybe that's a fort. So, maybe even without 10, Sky5, just that little difference, able to save them a lot in the long run. Meanwhile, Apple Mike can have to wolf run his way out of that situation as the members pile into the mid lane.
Yeah, one of the nice things about playing a Nubarak is you can tower dive with those beetles. You really don't have to fear the fort for a few seconds at least, and they were trying to get Rhaegar Apple Mike from over the wall using those beetles to tank the tower. Mid-fort falling. The Ferrets. However, level 10s are on for both sides. We have Purification Salvo from Phoenix from Kael'thas, Ancestral Healing from Rhaegar, Shield Wall from Varian, and Flailing Swipe, wisely selected, from Stukov.
We actually have a Warden's Cage for Maiev, Wrath coming out here for Imperius, so they're going to be looking for that isolation even further with that ult. Poison Nova coming in from the Zul, Starfall from Tyrande, and the Cocoon from Anubarak.
That was actually a triple gravity lapse from Kael'thas there to kind of catch them rotating. Anubarak is going to go down. Fantastic initiation for the side of Sky5. However, now they're withdrawing as the Fan of Knives reset after reset after reset. Sir Sean Sheep just obliterating Sky5. Look at that.
Just holding down the Qs right now. Apple Mike's going to go down. We will see the cannon coming out here on the other side from Quan Finnegan, but Assad going to be isolated out with that Wrath from Ghost Stung. And that's going to be a 2-for-0 exchange going over to Ferrets. That's going to secure them the next Punisher here, walking into the mid as well.
Jay, I don't know that I've ever seen that many consecutive Fan of Knives resets like that. I mean, that was 6, 7, 8. It was unreal.
Yeah, it was pretty much like Lily. You just hold down the Q and just slowly walk in. You know, everything's going to be fine.
So now, level 12s, Phoenix is thinking about a flank and then decided not to, teleported over the wall. On the verge of 13 talent to your advantage, and they're thinking keep wall, maybe more, question mark?
Yeah, they do bait it over the wall, so nice micro coming in there from the members of Sky5, but as soon as this wall goes down, they're going to be in massive danger with all the CC they have on the other side. We see Feign in, but actually Sir Sean Sheep is going to go in. Two-man tether. John Cena going to get in on the action. Phoenix is going to end up falling, and Cocoon is also out onto Stukov, but for now they're just going to focus on the keep.
Man, that is such a feels bad moment for Sky5 as Anubarak dives in, doesn't hit the burrow charge. They do get the variant anyway. Lurking arm from Stukov, breaking up the engagement beautifully, and now Ferrets is actually on the back foot. That silence from Stukov absolutely, completely turned that engagement around.
I like Ghost Dunk peeling with the Wrath there, but he may end up paying for it. They're slowing him, they're silencing him, and they're on the chase here. Apple Mike gonna be able to wolf in, get the bite, and Ghost Dunk is gonna end up falling here. So a 2-for-0 exchange. They do lose the fort in the mid, but now they can look to try and even out these lanes and get a little bit of map pressure with the camps.
Yeah, that objective started out so fantastic for Sky5. They got a great initiation onto the Anubarak, burned him down early, but then just eating those Fan of Knife resets. Sir Sean Sheep on the Maya just completely single-handedly turned that objective by just spamming that Q button.
That's one of the meta situations that we live in right now, where if you have a good Maya player, it's a very strong tool in your arsenal. If you're going against somebody who you know is a good Maya player, you ban it based on how good you are against it. It can be countered very easily if your team is good at spreading out and good at controlling the tethers. When Maya tethers you, a lot of it is under your control, whether or not it's a problem. You can walk into it, but right now Sky5 is not doing a great job of managing that. They start to walk in, they walk a little bit away, they end up getting tugged, which also plants the stun, and right now both teams looking to trade out here as they're just rotating in these opposite lanes, and it looks like they might just be trading out keep for keep right now.
Yeah, I think Sky5 is actually a little bit ahead in this race. They have the Merc camp behind, and I think the Phoenix and Kael'thas actually gives them better siege damage, but it's not going to matter. Both of these keeps are going down.
It's going to turn into a base race?
Well,
yeah, they're just going straight to the core because they already have mid keep down.
Wow, a huge heads-up call. Forcing their Hearth back from Ferrets, from Sky5, I should say. This is going to be close, Jay, but I think they're going to finish this.
Yeah, if this ends up being a defense, it's a huge win for Sky5, but the members are starting to go down. Nice isolation, going to prevent the taunt from Assad, and it's just barely going to be enough with only a Anubarak and a Furious left. Game 1 goes over to Ferrets.
What a heads-up, aggressive call. We're not going to keep race these guys. Just run past that thing and let's go end this game. It was a close thing, but they finished it, and game 1 in pretty spectacular fashion, going over to Ferrets. Jay, I'm going to tell you the first thing that jumps out at me on this stat screen is 10 kills to 9. That did not seem like a 10 kills to 9 game. No,
and you got to factor in the 3 kills at the end there as well. But yeah, mostly it was macro play. A lot of wave clear, a lot of siege potential over on the side of Ferrets, and they won a lot of map objectives and got a lot of value out of those Punishers without getting a whole lot of kills in the process. So that's really why you see that kill count be so different. But also, you look at like some of the siege numbers. Zol very very high on the siege damage. Good hero damage from Maiev, of course, with those fan of knives. Kael'thas, of course, on the other side, but a lot of that's random spread damage and not so much targeted specific damage like what you get out of the Maiev. And yeah, they just were able to take advantage of the situations in the game right down to the closing move.
Apparently, the way to win in early NGS Season 6, Jay, is to pick the wrong melee hero. Because
Exactly.
that did not seem to that did not seem to affect Ferrets even one little bit. It even looked like something they had worked on, but I mentioned it after the draft that I was just concerned that Sky5 just didn't have a way to keep them off, and you saw it. There was just no way to hold back that rolling ball of death that Ferrets was.
I will tell you with this much, Mongoose, I can understand why they would accidentally mistake Zol for Mephisto. They do sound alike.
Yes. And they're both cheating at Scrabble as well.
Ah, yes. Fair enough.
So waiting for teams to decide where Game 2 will be played. Ferrets will pick up 3 points if they manage to win Game 2. Sky5 will ensure a Game 3 and that they get at least 1 point in the standing if they even up the series.
Man, these guys really don't want me in here. Every time I come into a lobby, they're just yelling at me.
So Game 2, Battlefield of Eternity. We saw a lot of team fighting in Infernal Shrines. We're going to see even more here. And Team 2 is first pick, so that means this was Sky5's choice. They opted to get map pick instead of first pick, coming off of that Game 1 loss.
Yeah, we're going to stick with the general theme of Diablo as we go on with this map. We'll have to see if we end up getting a third. I don't think we can stick with Diablo then, but we are going to definitely, like you said, see a lot of team fighting. There's also a surprisingly macro-oriented map. A lot of people don't think of it that way, but, you know, again, the camps can be timed a certain way to really be able to leverage rotations and get extra advantages out of these map objective fights. So at this level, I expect everybody to play with decent macro on that front, but you know, we'll have to see. It's up to the teams ultimately.
And we're going to see a very different draft, I would imagine, and a Maiev ban, probably?
Yeah, I mean, again, if I'm Sky5, you know, that's something that maybe that was just, you know, an expensive lesson to have to learn is, you know, not knowing that there's a good Maiev on the other side. And if you know you're not able to deal with it, then it's definitely something that's worth that first ban.
And, you know, in the early part of the season, as there isn't quite as much information out there on teams, you're going to have kind of these heroes slip through it. And that's one of the fun things as this season develops, as teams kind of show their hand and their strats and what they're good at. Teams are going to have to make adjustments as those strategies get banned out and countered. So early part of the season, you maybe can kind of pick out these little off-meta strategies, or maybe a hero that you're really good at that isn't banned all the time, like Maiev. But as the season goes on, those are going to become harder and harder to do, and it's going to be fun to watch, you know, teams make those adjustments on one another. That's when you get those drafts. You're like, I wonder why they banned such and such random hero. It's because they know that the other team plays that guy.
Right, and at the end of the day, the deeper you are as a team, the better the more protected you are from the concept of being banned out or having other teams pick the heroes you need that are essential for that, because you can pivot into a lot of different strategies on pretty much every map in this game. So, you know, and of course, every map is a little bit unique, none more than Battlefield of Eternity, with, you know, really the only map where you have to put a massive premium on PvE damage. You don't have to, but it certainly helps not having to play around the idea of defending the Immortal all the time. So, We'll have to see how these teams adjust for this map compared to the wave clear heavy nature of Infernal Shrines, and whether or not that can maybe change the drafts enough to maybe give Sky5 an advantage.
Well, both teams are ready, Jay, and we are into the draft.
So once again, looks like the map pick of Sky5. So first pick, first man going over to Ferrets. Last pick, also though, still going over to Sky5. So if they want to hold back that last pick, kind of like they did last time, and go a little bit unorthodox, they can definitely do that. Same Zeratul ban to start here, and now we'll see if Sky5 makes any adjustments.
Last game it was first ban Ana. Would not surprise me to see that again. But I also wouldn't be surprised to see like an Ana Maev as opposed to the Diablo who was banned out last game.
Yeah, certainly a lot of different options that are really strong in the game. It is going to be the Maev, so Sky5 going to make that adjustment. But, the tanks in the meta are really strong. A lot of people don't like playing against heroes like Asmodean and Kael'thas, though not so much at this level. But, we'll see. Diablo ban once again. Ferrets not wanting to see that on the board. And I'm guessing this is either going to be Ana, or they might just go back to taking away the Garrosh.
Or on Battlefield of Eternity, maybe a Tyrande ban. They did play Tyrande last time. This is her last game. Battlefield is arguably her most effective map, so we could see a Tyrande ban as well if that's the direction they want to go. But they're talking about it because it's going right down to the wire.
And they're going to ban out the Anubarak. Another good call, very strong hero. Another hero that Ferrets played very effectively in that last game. The web wrap can be just absolutely devastating in this game right now. And you called it, Mongoose. Tyrande going to be first pick here for Ferrets.
I wonder if the line of thought for Sky5 was, well, we'll leave them both up and we're going to get Ana or Tyrande. But no, they're going for a Garrosh and the burn with the Greymane, who is kind of was really one of the primo assassins in the meta for a long time. Kind of fallen off a little bit. Don't see him as much, but Battlefield of Eternity is one where you're more apt to see him than probably any other battle.
Yeah, you see Greymane has evolved essentially into the role of a niche pick. Very good with Garrosh, though. If Garrosh can get that toss with the Groundbreaker, Greymane, one of the best follow-up heroes in the game, complements reset heroes well, like Li Ming, which is another hero you occasionally see on this map. But on the other side, Medivh and Stitches. So you got a little bit of a kidnap comp possibly coming up here.
Yeah, the milk carton.
Yeah, and not to mention the fact that the Medivh can be good for helping people get away from the Garrosh. So it's possible that Ferrets let that through just because they knew they had an answer for it in the second and third pick.
Yeah, Medivh is a nice soft counter to the Garrosh, putting down the protect for whoever the throw victim is, as well as a portal to get back to safety. Sky5 banning out the Vala, taking away one of the, if not the best burner still left to make sure Greymane still has that advantage. Now the ban for Ferrets. Let's see. I imagine a support, and it's going to be a Malfurion. That's a good ban. The roots are a really nice, easy, solid follow-up for the toss from the Garrosh.
Yeah, not to mention the reduced healing. It can be difficult to deal with, trying to help somebody get out of that problem. But Stukov, probably the next best option. The slow from the Pustule can be very strong on a hero that's been tossed in, not to mention the silence, obviously. And then we are going to see the Li Ming, so they're going for the full reset comp.
And now last two pick for Ferrets. Going to be a Sylvanas and a Malthael. Interesting.
Yeah, Malthael, a pretty good counter to Garrosh with the last rites.
For sure.
Sylvanas, pretty good burn, but also very good enabling of the Immortals. When you can have Sylvanas with that black arrow to help push down these lanes as the Immortal goes, it's just that much longer that it lasts, that much longer that it's there, throwing out stun circles that you don't really want to fight under. And the Sonya, that one, Mongoose, that one's a surprise.
Yeah, she did get a little bit of love last week, but the kind of scuttlebutt in the community is that it really wasn't that big of a buff, so I'm a little bit surprised to see her. Back to that Sylvanas, though, in addition to enabling the Immortal push. Since her kind of retooling here a short while ago, she puts out a surprising amount of damage, and so much so that Ferrets feels comfortable running her as essentially the ranged carry in this comp.
Yeah, no ranged assassins. You've got, Medivh, who's a specialist, kind of a switch hitter in terms of giving some damage and some supporting. Tyrande also, kind of one of those heroes that gives a little bit of damage more than most of the supports in the game. Malthael, of course, is an assassin, but a melee assassin up there with Stitches, so they don't really have a very good peeling or zoning front line. So we'll see. This is very comp based on whether or not they can hit the combos and execute well over on the side of Ferrets.
Before Sky5, Abid or ABYD, I'm not sure which. Back on the Stukov, Furl on Li Ming, Assad on Garrosh, Apple Mike on Greymane, and Juan Finnegan on Sonya.
And on the right, we've got Ferrets. Surstron Sheep going to be playing the Medivh. E-Fitting on the Stitches. Eric going to be playing Sylvanas. Wintermute on the Tyrande, and Ghost Dunk going to be on the Malthael.
It's been a little while, Jay, since I've seen a Sonya Malthael matchup in the solo lane.
Yeah, in the waves, Sonya can hold her own in that matchup, but otherwise, it goes all the way over to Malthael, just 1v1. But we'll see. We're probably not going to see that much solo fighting out in the lane. We're just going to see in the waves, and they're probably just going to go back to their respective corners and get ready for the next round.
So E-Fitting actually hit a nice hook on the Li Ming. The Lunar Flare was just like a half a second too late. Otherwise, Li Ming might have been in trouble, but was able to get away. And there's another hook onto the Li Ming, but the insta-teleport, and she's going to be just fine.
Yeah, so level 1, we're going to see Unfurling Shadows coming in from Sylvanas. So we're going to see the Shadow Dagger stacking already up to 12 here in the first minute of the a lot of this infighting that we're going to see in the bottom lane is going to be enabling that to grow. Meanwhile, Phil gets blown up there off of another great hook by Stitches. Just getting caught out a little bit here. Those hooks can be very devastating in the early game to give you that advantage, even before you get the tools like Gorge into the portal.
And that particular pick, it really wasn't the hook, which was great, but it was the fact that Tyrande actually launched the Lunar Flare before the hook landed. So when the hook went in, the Lunar Flare was there waiting. There was absolutely zero chance for Tyrande to teleport away.
Yeah, and really, that's the tough thing about playing with the Stitches is the follow-ups. So if you've got that on Q, you can do just about anything from there. We're going to see the portal back as a couple members of Ferrets. Ferrets are going to go ahead and rotate up to grab their camp. And we're going to see Greymane doing the same on the back end. Medivh getting there just a bit too late to scout that out, but probably more an informational scout anyway. I don't see a Medivh going toe-to-toe with Greymane over that camp.
Especially before he stacked up.
Yeah, exactly. But both are going to pick him up. A little bit of an early cap, though, here for Sky5. It's going to give Ferrets the opportunity to rotate out and grab it. And look out! Assad is going to make it right up onto this point. 4 members are here. And Sky5 are going to take this easily with the resets coming in from Phil. They're going to try and chase down Wintermute, but either way, massive steal there. 2 kills off the back end.
Well, you said they were early on the camp. They had visions of grandeur there, picking up the camp and then invade. It was a pretty quick rotation over there. A great aggression, showing no hangover whatsoever from game 1. Sky5 taking the early momentum here, winning halftime, securing the camp, 2 kills here, and they're almost, unless Ferrets comes in hard, this first Immortal should go over to them, and they are, actually, Jay. They're coming in to defend this.
Yeah, between the Greymane cocktail and the Li Ming abilities you see coming in already, over the wall there. They've got a lot of poking tools. They do send the Malthael back to burn, but so they're gonna see that though. They're gonna look to aggress as they see the burn going on the other side.
Sylvanas does get tossed, but the Protect was there. Johnny on the spot, Medivh, so Sylvanas gets away. Now Sky5 with some very low hit points. Li Ming is just trying to do as much damage as she can to the Immortal, but she's got no mana, Jay.
Yeah, problem with Li Ming players that I find the mana very difficult, but does have the Astral Present talent one to try and get a little bit of it back. Meanwhile, Malthael continuing to just slowly chip away. They actually send a couple more members back, and now as they see that burn ramp up, they're going to go ahead and dive in here, and Sershawn Seep's got to be careful. He's going to make it out to the other side with the portal, but that's definitely going to be Immortal going over to Sky5 here to start this game out.
Yeah, as expected, on the back of that double kill and camp invade, Sky5 able to secure the first objective, but Ferrets didn't make it easy. They really dragged that thing out kind of longer than I thought it would go.
Yeah, it was nice defense all around. They did a nice job of zoning the members of Sky5 off after they just completely annihilated the burn in the first half. Meanwhile, 26 stacks right now for Medivh, so he's making some nice progress, especially in the defense here. He's going to be able to get a few extra stacks beyond what we normally see. And by the way, Seeker build coming out here for Li Ming, so Seeker with the orb reset, so definitely not standard build coming out here from Ferret.
And an aggressive portal in. They didn't get a lot out of that, but it was kind of cute, Jay. The three-man teleport in to try to catch them going away.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you can catch them going beyond the Immortal, and here it is again. They portal in, but the toss is going to come on the other side, and great zoning. Not going to allow Eric to get back in to that portal, but they do sacrifice Li Ming to get that zoning.
So Medivh is here to scout out this camp. Only Medivh is here, though, unbeknownst to Sky5. The rest of Ferrets aren't here. However, in the bottom lane, the 1v1 continues. Sonya getting the better of Malthael there, able to secure the bottom camp. And Greymane is actually in the bush here, maybe waiting for Ghost Dunk to step up a little too far. This is hard to do when you've got a Medivh on the battlefield, and he's going to be here shortly and reveal this Greymane. No, Apple Mike, really nice job there of seeing the Medivh and rotating away possibly, or just fortuitous timing possibly as well.
Yeah, you know, Ghost Dunk playing very smart there, not seeing members on the map. I think he actually could have contested Sonya over that bottom lane and won in a 1v1 versus Sonya, but wisely backed away knowing that his team was not anywhere near, and the members of Sky5 were missing, so no reason to risk it. They clear it up really simply. Now they're going to rotate up, and this time they're going to do their camp as a group, Mongoose. Going to make sure it doesn't get stolen.
Yeah, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, you know.
But we are going to see them both grabbing their camps on the opposite side. Ferrets will be able to clean up that camp out of the top. And we'll see a little bit of a rotational advantage here for the side of Sky5, but they're actually just going to use that to go to the bot lane.
And both sides rotating defensively. Members of Ferrets have arrived, and I mean, this XP is dead even. It's so close. Level 10s will be here almost simultaneously for both teams. Neither team has really sent somebody into that off lane for soak though yet, Jay. Now they go. Now they're going. Sylv in the top, Greymane and Sonya, they will do a lot of siege damage, those two in the bottom.
Yeah, but also Sylv has the ability to counteract that, but instead they're going to call everybody to the bottom here to defend and look to attack. Level 10 grab just a hair earlier for Ferrets, but Trickle is going to give that to Sky5 here momentarily.
Yeah, it is going to be last rites, Gorge, right onto Garrosh, into the portal. There's the Lunar Flare, but the self-proc of the Unstoppable keeps him alive until it doesn't. Garrosh goes down.
Just enough.
Yeah, that's 5 heroics for 1 kill. Probably worth, but Garrosh will be up before those heroics will be up.
Oh, they catch a second one there as Medivh portals into the bot aggressively on to the Greymane. And right now, things looking to start to tilt a little bit towards Ferrets. as they head toward this back half, but we'll have to see. That actually that Greymane kill is huge. They don't have him for another 3 seconds as we see the halftime show pass, and a very favorable proc here for Ferrets on the Immortal position.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised Sky5 is actually contesting. I just figured they would opt to burn as many shield as possible, but they're going in hard. As for a leap onto Sylvanas and a taunt, only catches Stitches the disintegration beam, not able to secure a reset. Sonya spinning to try to stay alive, but last rites will get the job done, and there's a Gorge onto Greymane and a portal. Greymane is going back to the Hall of Storm.
To your point, Mongoose, you can take a 4v5 on the Immortal. You cannot take a 4v5 beyond the Immortal. That is what Sky5 did there. They pursued a little bit too far, a little bit too hard. They needed to just defend under their Immortal and wait for Greymane to come back.
Yeah, and he wasn't too far away. If they would have just driven them off and kind of been content with that, settled in. You still got to dodge the Hook Gorge stuff, but speaking of Hook, that minion is in trouble.
Yeah.
So all five members for both teams, they're here, Jay.
Yeah, 5v5 here. They are going to look to get as much value out of this as possible. And with the Sylvanas on your team, that's really what you want to see. Black Arrow comes out nice and early, about half the duration already gone before they get into the actual fort itself. But we'll be able to shut that down. Or actually, no, it is out now. But we'll see the Gorge coming in as they look to try and isolate somebody. Assad is going to end up falling once again from that last race. The counter working exactly as they want, and still the full health Immortal as they start to march in towards the front wall of this keep.
Yeah, he was looking so hard for that Gorge and just barely caught the Sonya. A leap to get away. Nice play by Quan Finnegan there. But the siege of the bottom keep for Ferrets continues.
Yeah, and we are going to see some nice Immortal damage on the other side by Furl. Able to really knock that down with that Secret build. That's the one big strength, is in burning and defending Immortals. So front wall goes down, but the keep remains, and Sky5 still staying in this game.
Yeah, a little late, but we hadn't touched on the Sky5 heroics yet. We see Leap, Disintegration Beam. This is the one I was curious which way they could go. They did go for the Throat over Cursed Bullet, Warlord's Challenge, and Flailing Swipe for Stukov.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the enemy comp. You know, how often are you going to have somebody diving in that you really can get that toss into Groundbreaker, that kind of focus blow up. We haven't seen a whole lot of that from Sky5 so far against the members of Ferrets. So I do like the go for the Throat call, because Apple Mike looks like so far in this game, he's going to have to depend on Garrosh being a little bit more forward and comboing off of the Warlord's Challenge. And we want to go forward like that. You want the more easily targeted one, which is to go for the Throat.
You know, and not just that, the argument in a favor of Cursed Bullet is it would actually allow you to get the Stitches with the toss stun, but as the hook from Stitches misses, if you have a Medivh on the other side, you're just going to throw the Cursed or the Protect down, and if the Protect eats that Cursed Bullet, it feels real bad to waste a heroic into a basic ability. I think if I were the Greymane player, to me that would have been the kind of bigger consideration.
Right, it looks like right now Sky5 trying to rotate in. E-Fitting is not going to be able to get through the portal before the end of that Gorge. So right now, positional advantage for Sky5 as they look to steal the Bruiser camp here from Ferrets.
Yeah, that was real close. Here comes the Polybomb and the Skyfall, and the last rites is going to get Garrosh again. Ghost Dunk is really picking on Garrosh. A leap into the Sonya, but just leap to her demise. And Ferrets is slowly choking this game away, Jason.
Can you believe the patience there from Ferrets? They knew their combo did not work as they intended. They backed up, they tapped the well, they took a breath, but they came back in. They counter-engaged, and they were able to take Sky5 out on that camp. Again, last rites working exactly the way that Ferrets drew it up. Great counter to Garrosh. They get that first kill. They ride the momentum and get one more. And now they're going to be able to get a very strong shielded Immortal out of this. As once again, the best spawn that you could possibly have in this scenario. sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, but for Ferrets, you can just have both.
Yep, and here comes the invade from Sky5, trying to drive them off one more time. I think it's probably going to be too little too late. Oh, Malthael's in trouble. The Protect might keep him up. There's the Polybomb, another good Polybomb, but they do finally bring down Ghost Dunk with Go for the Throat. But Sky5 is so low.
Yeah, a lot of members low. They do have Stukov to try and slowly bring that health back up. The question is whether or not they can remain on this Immortal long enough to keep it up, and no, they cannot. The leap onto the backside, though, they are going to find Wintermute out here. The Disintegrate's going to be just enough to finish him off. However, we do have the portal back and the kidnap completed onto the Sonya. So ultimately, a 2 for 2, but the bigger story here, Mongoose, full shielded Immortal coming out here for Ferrets in the top lane.
And not just a full shielded Immortal, but the Mercenary camp's been softening up this lane. So they're going to have a very strong push coming in with the Immortal here.
Yeah, Li Ming is pretty good at taking down the Immortal with that Seeker build, but not good at piles of minions like what we see coming out from the Shaman. He's going to continue throwing those dogs out as just straight up cannon fodder for all of Furl's abilities. And meanwhile, on the backside, we see the hook not quite landing. The Immortals do come down, but so is the keep help as they look to defend here. Got to look out for the stun. And on the backside, Assad trying to find somebody, only finds, once again, one of those little dogs to flip over.
The last rites, maybe the first time we've seen not a kill, and there is the Gorge again. Sonya is in trouble. Maybe be able to spin out of this. Yes.
The point click leap right in place there from Juan Finnegan stays alive. We are going to see Ghost Dunk trying to portal out with that shield, but it is going to end up being a 2 for 1. Great defense overall. They lose the keep, and there is still that one cannon just chipping away a little bit at the core. Nope, never mind.
It locked onto the tower.
Report. Yeah, report it. It's throwing the game.
The side of Sky5 there, all for one and one for all. They would not let Sonya go quietly into the night. They went hard in to keep her up and traded up for it. So well played by those guys.
Yeah, I'm really impressed just by that on point the leap. Just enough to stun everybody, give her a second to spin to get a little bit of healing going. And even down the 16 talent tier, they were still able to chase them out and get a favorable exchange. And when you're down that level advantage, the 2 for 1 is going to help you catch up nicely. And a little bit much to ask for the members of Ferrets to try and get 2 full levels here before this next Mortal spawn. I think we're still going to have the opportunity for Sky5 to get a pre-20 fight here.
Yeah, it should be about 1917 or so, I would guess.
Yeah, we'll see. Right now, nobody prioritizing getting in the lane for Ferrets. I say that right as Ghost Dunk does go to the bot to clear the camp, but yeah, it looks like they're still going to be 18. So it should be a pretty interesting fight here, as there really is not going to be too much camp pressure. They don't got to worry too much about that Shaman camp. He's going to eat into the shield a little bit, but it pushes structures well except for the core. The core doesn't follow the Shaman camp very well.
Now, I will say in the top lane, though, it's going to be Kata's as the hook comes out. Self-proc unstoppable. Didn't matter. They still get the Sonya. And the throw away from the portal into the taunt. The Protect saving Stitches for now, but he is in the silence. Last Rites gets the Garrosh. Sonya goes down. Hook on Apple Mike. Down he goes. Jay, this is going to be the beginning of the end here, I believe, for Sky5.
Yeah, I think they can actually just go through the top lane and possibly win here, but they're going to try and go for the more safe, sure thing kind of approach, continue to bleed away the map by getting some damage here. Meanwhile, Furl on the other side, though, again, now with the upgraded Seeker build with the Mirror Ball here at level 16, does have good race potential, but not going to be able to counter so many extra members. Plus, somebody's got to clean up this core on the other side.
Yeah, it's going to be Stukov and Li Ming. They're going to go back and do a little housekeeping while the rest of their team spawns. Ferrets will go polish off the Immortal. And then the two teams will clash in the bottom lane with Ferrets eyeing the 2-0 domination.
Yeah, 5 stacks right now on that last rights for Ghost Dunk. So he's been getting a lot of value from that talent. They now see that the
Portal
members are
invade
here. Well, we're gonna see at least the hook, but nice unstoppable there from Assad to dodge that. But this camp, that's really more of a denial than anything else. They get it flowing in, so the members of Ferrets couldn't rotate in to grab it possibly and add it to the massive amount of push that's going to be going in the spot lane already. But half shielded Immortal, and it looks like they're going to try and get in behind this for an engage.
And they are. They've isolated out Stitches, but the Medivh Protects means they can't get him, and Greymane goes down on the backside. They finally get the Stitches. Li-Ming getting her reset. Sonya, 3-man leap, spinning, but last rights again.
A little bit of miscommunication there from the side of Sky5. They had a very good job of isolating out the Stitches by Assad. Everybody collapsed on him together except for Greymane. Greymane went deep onto the back line, 1v4, and ended up dying in the backside. And a 4v4 engage after that with the last rights from Ghost Dunk. They just can't win that matchup anymore. And now the Immortal getting on to the core of Sky5, and I believe this is going to be the end, Mongoose. Ferret's going to take this series 2-0.
Yeah, and a very strong 2-0. You know, game one, I would say the kind of standout hero player was Sir Sean Sheep on the Maiev. And game two, boy, Ghost Dunk on that Malthael. He got so much value that game. Last rights after last rights. 7 kills. Top on his team in hero damage. So well played there. So that will be a 2-0 domination. 3 points in the standings for Ferrets. You want to maybe message one of those, Jay, see if they jump in and call with us?
Yeah, I think I can do that. But yeah, I think one of the other things we're starting to see in this matchup is a little bit of the decline of Li-Ming. You know, she seems like she's just dropping off a little bit in the meta, not quite as effective as a damage dealer. She does good numbers, but a lot of what damage you deal is dictated by your opponent, unless you have a really good CC chain to set her up. So they got some value out of the Garrosh taunt and the throw, a combo, but not a ton. Let's see if we can get Ghost in here. He is going to come over for the interview.
I think we're going to have to add him to my friends list. Sorry, stream. I know I'm messing all up OBS right now.
All right, I got him as a friend. I think I can.
Okay, see if you can add him to the call. That would be spectacular. Yeah, you know, with the Li-Ming, she's so all or nothing. You know, you see her a lot on the highlight reels. Oh, Jay, we lost you. It's okay. I'm gonna put your avatar. Oh, no, there you are.
I'm still here.
He is back. And
oh, wait. I don't have my green screen up. Otherwise, I'd bring you video. And actually, that would probably mess with your.
It totally would mess everything up. But what's up, Ghost?
Hey, not a lot. We had a fun game there. That was a good time. We had a great time.
So, first of all, which was the accidental pick in game one, and how well did it work out?
I mean, what did you guys think?
Well, it seemed like it worked out okay. I just assumed everything went as planned.
No. I mean, like, which pick did you think was in?
We think the Zol was mistaken for Mephisto.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
He was typing in Fisto because he always calls him Fisto, and he typed it in, and lo and behold, it didn't pop up on the screen. But it worked out pretty well. It wasn't a bad pick. It just wasn't what we wanted at that moment. I mean, there was just so much CC. We were front heavy. We were just able to run at them, and and it worked out with the Jules added wave clear. Like, if you random any hero, you want to hope it's a wave clear hero.
Yeah, for sure. And also the bone prison man just set up the rest of that CC train. I was just concerned with the solo tank variant. They just didn't seem to have a way to keep you guys from just kind of rolling over the front line there. And it seemed to happen kind of time and again.
We were worried about Rhaegar cleanse, but he didn't pick it up. So
well, that and he only has
easier.
one.
Yeah, that too. So like one cleanse, but we have spear, we've got bone prism, and Nubarak has 2 stuns. So yeah.
So game 2, man, you were really flexing on that Malthael. You must be feeling good after that game. I said last rights a whole lot in that game too.
Oh, thanks. I mean, it's into Garrosh, it's always really nice to have because Garrosh wants to kind of stay low because he gets his armor down at low health, and like he can just live forever when he has low health, except against Malthael. So I always love playing Malthael into Garrosh. Yeah.
Last question for me, then I'll throw it over to Jay. This squad as 5 just came together for NGS. You guys didn't play Heroes Lounge last season, right? Is this a fairly new 5-stack, this particular group?
Kind of. We did play Heroes Lounge. It was a different incarnation of the team called Boosted Bunker Club. And Sean and Alex, his name is E-Fitting. The thing I always call him Alex. They were on that team, and that was like a bunch of people that knew each other that wanted to go to University of, I think it's the University of Las Vegas, UNLV, and do dorms. But yeah,
right.
So we kind of me and Sean and Eric were on a team previously called Moto Miracle, and we had a guy with us named Ferret. Shout out to Ferret, who I hope is watching, or maybe not, who wasn't able to do the Div S quals with us because he plays League now, and he plays with his UNLV team for League, and they had their tournament at the exact times that the Div S quals were. So we had to bring in Wintermute, who was on a team with Eric and I called Hakuna Shimada. So that's the history. And now you know the rest of the story.
So one comment and then one question. I feel terrible that Hakuna Shimada is not around anymore because that was the best team name in all of NGS.
Was. Shout out to DK Salt, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. And also the Doctor for putting together that fantastic. You guys were the only ones that had your own theme song, and it was epic. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's incredible. Just YouTube it, Hakuna Shimada, the Doctor. I'm sure it'll pop up. But how's the squad going now? Seems like you guys kind of maybe worked out the lumps in the Div S qualifiers. You look good tonight.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, no, every 4 weeks we learn something playing in Div S. Like week 1, we're like, oh, maybe we should ban Abathur. And so on. And going up against like pros and semi-pros and people that actually made it into Div S, that's really like, it was really good practice, and I'm really excited for like the squad sticking together through all that stuff, and I think everybody's having fun.
Most important thing. Jay, that's all you, bud.
So game 1, you guys got Maiev. I believe Sir Sean Sheep was playing that hero, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
How big of a deal do you think it is to have him on that hero in terms of your how it changes your guys' playstyle?
In terms of changing playstyle, it's basically follow up on Maiev. If somebody is somewhere you don't want them to be, you just pull them closer to you. Maiev is, busted might be a little harsh, but she's easily first pick, first ban material. And whenever you get first pick, it's like, let's shoot for something that's commonly banned, and Maiev is one of those because we have a really good Maiev player in Sean, so it's always a threat.
Speaking of that game 1 comp, next time you guys draft that, are you going to go with the Zol, or are you still thinking you want the Mephisto for it?
I think maybe as a last pick in like surprise sort of thing, but I think it's I think there are maybe counters to it, especially if you've seen that game already, and it's we may think about experimenting with Zul in the future. I'm not sure. We have no plans. It was kind of like a random thing, but
it's always nice when you find random things by accident like that.
Yeah, and Zul is not a bad hero. Like there's no bad heroes in the game right now, and we'll see. We could try it out in scrims or team league on our own and see if it works with our style.
Yeah, we got beat by a Murky last night. So, things happen.
Hey, Murky's love, man.
Last question for you. I was another hero question. In that second game, you guys went ahead with the Sylve. Where do you think her place is in the meta right now after her changes?
It's hard to describe. I mean, she's kind of like what you wanted her to be before in competitive, where she has she can help enhance objectives like the the Immortal or the Punisher or Dragon Knight. But she has really good burst. She has surprisingly good burst. And if you don't watch out, she will tear apart your tanks or anybody that she's able to focus on for any amount of time.
All right, well, that's it for me. Congratulations on the win, guys.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for the interview.
Yeah, man. Any shout outs on your way out, Ghost?
Absolutely. I want to shout out Basil and my mom, who are both watching. Hi, guys. I want to shout out my team for sticking through everything and having a bunch of fun. Shout out especially to Alex for getting home from school quickly enough. Shout out to you guys for casting. Shout out to the to Sky5. I think they're a new team. I haven't seen any of these guys before, so glad to have you guys in NGS and hope we get to play again. If you guys want to scrim, hit us up. Shout out to I already shouted out DK Salt, but yeah, shout out to Doctor and the Kunishimada family over there, and shout out to all of you watching NGS. Love that people keep the scene alive, and community is what it's all about. We love playing this game.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better, Ghost. We'll catch you later, man.
All right, see ya.
Hey, that's going to be it for us. Where do you want to shout out on your way out the door?
Yeah, you guys can check me out at Jason Hots, both on Twitch and on Twitter. And just in general, we'll be casting a whole lot of this stuff, and we're going to continue to put together fun projects. Like we got the Thursday Night Showdown coming. For those of you guys who didn't see, we've got a Div A match right here in this division. We're going to be bringing it back on Thursday night for Gimme the D Shield versus Nobo Esports. So that should be a pretty fun matchup for our analyst team to cover. And, of course, we're going to have Ghost Dunk himself back with Murda to cast that one on Thursday at 7. So check that out. And pretty much just echo what Ghost Dunk said. It's been a really fun start to the season. I love this community, and I look forward to doing everything in my power to keep it going. And I know there's a lot of staff here in NGS that's doing the same.
And I'm going to issue one small correction. They changed their name. It's now Nobo Esprouts.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's Esprouts.
That's important.
That's not the first time I'm going to make that. That's not the last time I'm going to make that mistake.
All right, guys. Yeah. Well, I'm going to throw you over to a Div B East matchup being casted currently by Moist Weenus. That's Team Training Wheels and Excel Esports, I believe. So be sure to hang out for more NGS action. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful night, guys.